If you're thinking about buying, selling, or relocating in Charlotte, you're in the right place. I'm Portia Wimbush, and on this channel, I help people make smarter real estate decisions with honest advice and practical strategies, and a look at what life in Charlotte is really like. And today, I want to talk about what I think honestly costs homeowners thousands of dollars before they ever even put a for sale sign in the yard. Because most people think the biggest mistake happens after they list their home. Pricing is wrong, choosing the wrong agent, bad marketing, and those are all important. But in my opinion, the biggest mistake actually happens before any of that. It happens when homeowners decide that they are ready to sell without first taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture. And I know that might sound strange coming from a realtor, but wait, hear me out. One thing that I've learned is that just because you can sell your home doesn't always mean that you should. Sometimes selling is absolutely the right decision, and sometimes it's not. And I think that's a conversation that more people deserve to have. I actually spoke with someone recently that was convinced that they needed to sell their home right away. They had already started looking online, thinking about where they wanted to move, and mentally they had their mind made up. But once we sat down and talked through their goals, their finances, and what they were hoping to accomplish, they realized that waiting just a few more months would put them in a stronger position. Now, that doesn't mean that waiting is the right answer for everyone. Every situation is different. But it reminded me the first conversation shouldn't be, when do you want to list? It actually should be, what are you trying to accomplish? Because real estate isn't just about buying and selling houses. It's about making decisions that move your life forward financially. And sometimes the smartest move is selling. Sometimes it's holding on to your home a little longer. Sometimes it's making a few strategic updates before you even hit the market. And sometimes is realizing that your first plan wasn't actually your best plan. Honestly, I never want someone to sell a home just because they feel they should. I want them to sell because it actually makes sense for their life and their goals. Now, can we talk about Zillow for a second? I know it's fun. Trust me, I've looked at my own estimate too. But one of the biggest mistakes is homeowners assuming that that number is actually the number that their home will sell for. Sometimes it is close, and sometimes it's not even in the ballpark. A computer cannot walk through your house. It doesn't even know if you renovated your kitchen last year. It doesn't know your roof was replaced. It doesn't know your backyard backs up to a walking trail instead of a busy road. It definitely doesn't know how buyers are emotionally reacting to your home compared to the one down the street. Real estate is local, it's personal, and pricing is part data and part strategy. That's why I always tell people, use online estimates as a starting point, not the finish line. This is something that I don't think enough people talk about. Before you ever list your home, ask yourself, where am I going next? Because I've seen people get so focused on selling that they never really plan for what comes after. Are you buying another home, building, relocating, renting for a while, downsizing, upsizing? Those answers matter because they affect your timeline, and timing can have a huge impact on how smooth or stressful the experience feels. Selling your home is only one piece of the puzzle. This might surprise people. You don't have to be ready to sell to start talking with a realtor. Honestly, some of my favorite conversations happen months before someone ever lists their home. Sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's a year. Sometimes people just want to know, if I decide to move someday, what should I be doing now? Those conversations are valuable because they give you time. Time to make small repairs, time to declutter, time to understand your equity, time to make improvements that buyers actually notice instead of scrambling at the last minute. And I think that's where people save themselves a lot of stress. If every agent tells you that your home is worth something different, someone is probably wrong. And sometimes the highest number sounds the most exciting. I get it. Who wouldn't want to hear that their home is worth more? But what really matters is that price supported by the market? Because if your house is priced too high from the beginning, the buyers you actually want may never come and see it. And once a home starts sitting, buyers begin asking themselves questions. What's wrong with it? Why hasn't it sold? That's not the position that you want to be in. I'd rather have an honest conversation up front than an uncomfortable one after your home has been sitting for weeks. If there's one thing I hope people take away from this video, it's this. Selling your home shouldn't start with putting it online. It should start with making a smart plan. Looking at your goals, looking at your finances, looking at the market, and deciding what makes the most sense for your situation. Because every homeowner is different. There isn't a one-size-fits-all strategy. And honestly, I think people deserve more than just someone who unlocks doors and puts a sign in the yard. They deserve someone who's willing to have the conversations that happen before all of that. If you're thinking about selling your home in Charlotte, even if it's a thought right now, I truly hope this gave you a different perspective. You don't have to have everything figured out before reaching out. Sometimes the best first step is simply having a conversation and building a plan. If that's something that you'd like to do, I'd love to help. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe, because every week I share honest advice about buying, selling, relocating, and building a life here in Charlotte. And whenever you're ready to make your move, win with Wimbush. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.